Morning.
Hello. Thanks for joining in. Good morning, Mike. Morning, Brenda. Oh, it's Ross. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
All right. Got that problem solved. That's what I should have done, gone out on my deck for this call. Oh, yeah.
Well, to set out here, I had to go put on pants, so that makes me really happy.
There are always ups and downs.
Okay. The computer time is 2 minutes off from my phone time. Do you not have your computer synced over the internet on time? Well, I would think I would, but I don't know. So it's either 10 o'clock or 9:58. I go with 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I have 10 o'clock too. I think we can probably start and make sure we have everybody.
So we want to go ahead and do roll call and see who's here?
Sure.
Sure, I'll do that.
All right, thank you.
Yep, so Russ Inman. Russ, I know you're here. Okay, we'll put Russ down anyway.
All right.
He's under
Jay
Brenda.
Reichel? Yeah. Jay? Here. Thank you. Mitch Huber? Here. Ken Jurgens?
Here.
Gary Rogers?
Here.
Eric Sprague? Maria Sandow? Mike Wood?
Here.
Kevin Ray? Jim Lillo? Dan Armentrout?
Here.
Thor Brecht? Here. All right, thank you all very much.
All right. Maya, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we do. I would like to add item 6F, JobNet update.
Oh, my favorite. All right. We will add that as 6F, and we will move on to approval of the August 19th minutes. Could I have someone recommend approval, please?
So moved.
Gary. Oh, second by Gary.
Thank you. And we'll move on from there right on to our report of officers for project updates.
I could take that first.
All right, Russ, thank you.
We, just so everybody is aware, Sanford, the Saginaw Road Bridge that's been closed, that just got FHWA approval for the emergency fix and repairs. So that one and our Curtis Road over the Tittabawassee River, both those have now been approved for emergency fixes, which entails, you know, redoing the road or reconstructing the road, whatever it takes just to get it open to traffic. They may have to be load regraded or not restricted. So those will hopefully be done. They're going to be emergency bid, and that will be open to traffic hopefully before snow flies, but you know, in the next 2 months, I would say. You know, and otherwise, we just have a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
This is Jay, MDOT. Just some high-level stuff kind of hitting on Russ ad too. With we're going to work with Village Sanford with Saginaw Road Reconstruct. I believe that it's going to start by the 28th. As well, M30 over to Tittabawassee. It should be open this week too. So just a heads up. And
Really?
Then, yep. Yeah. Yeah. And then Russ, I guess are we helping out with Curtis Road?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to be using your guys' consultant, AECom, to do the design, and the PE and the CE are going to go through MDOT.
Okay.
Which
That's
is
about all I had for the high level updates right now. Any questions or anything else for details, I can get with Kim Hill on that.
all right.
Well, I can give an update for City of Midland Dial-A-Ride. Our grants through the FTA have recently been approved, as well as MDOT issuing project authorizations for the 20% matches on the capital projects that we submitted. So we'll be moving forward with issuing a purchase order for a couple of replacement buses, and then just the usual preventative maintenance stuff.
Any update or anything on the engineering position over there? That's
No, I don't have any update. I'm sorry.
no problem.
Let me shoot out an email while we're on here and see if I can get anything for you.
All right. Is there anybody in the interim trying to fill his big shoes that he left, Josh's shoes?
Unsure.
All right.
Is Shane filling in right now?
Unsure.
Okay.
In Saginaw County, I'll update you guys. Freeland Road, River Road roundabout construction still on schedule. Looking to have that open traffic 1st November. So everything looking good there.
Wow. That's great.
Anyone else?
I have a couple of updates.
Thank you.
There's an LAP advisory. When projects go through LAP, sometimes they have to go through the endangered species process, and that process has been updated. So please, local agencies, take a look at that just to see what changes have been made within that process. Sometimes what it means is that there is more information required, and that the process takes a little bit longer. So please, everybody, be aware of that. And the other thing is, it's end of a fiscal year. Within, we are like within the last 2 weeks of this current fiscal year, and I just looked at all the projects yesterday just to make sure that all of them have been obligated, and most of them have. The transit projects, we are still waiting for obligation of those, but that's normal. They always get obligated within September, and usually within the second half of September. But there are a couple of projects that haven't been obligated yet on the roadside. One of them is the Freeland Road and at Sass Road roundabout, and I'm going to inquire about that.
That is because of right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something that's not going to be obligated this year? Do we need to move that project to next year?
Probably.
I'll talk to LAP what they say about that. Because if we need to move, if that project is not going to be obligated this year, we need to move it before October 1st to the next year. If we are basically running out of time to obligate it this year. I don't think you lose the funding because this is HRRR funding, so that works differently than our STL funding. I don't think you lose it if you cross over to next year, but I'll talk to them about that.
Right.
And then one other project that doesn't look like it has been obligated yet is the PE phase of US 10 business route at Wackerly. That's so that's a construction of that is scheduled for 2022, but the PE phase has not been obligated yet. So I'm going to follow up on that also, whether we need to move that MDOT project to year 21. But other than that, it's looking really good.
Jim Lowell, sorry I'm late. We project updates, I'm assuming?
Yes.
We are.
All right, so we have just one in the Vance area, the Garfield Road, Hotchkiss to US 10. Basically, it's paved. They're doing the rest of the shoulders, driveways, signage, and then pavement markings. That's due to finish on September 26th. And the only other thing I have to get into to Brian and Maya, we are doing design for Midland Road from the city limit, or actually from US 10 to Carter for next year, Carter to 11 for 21, and then 11 to Garfield for 22, which is Matt's funding. So I need to change the project for 2022, get you new numbers and all the other stuff that goes with that. So That's what we have got here from Bay County.
All right, we'll talk about that and make sure that everything is set up as it needs to be.
Very good, thanks. And it just is odd, my other, if that's over there and I'm looking over here, so that's why you get the profile jail shot.
Maya, is everyone getting a different, is no longer seeing the agenda on their screen, or is it just me?
I think that's for everybody.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it must have, yeah. Brian must have been checking that and it must have decided to share that screen.
Not just making sure it's not me.
Brian.
Okay, Maya, have we finished then with the report of officers for project updates?
I believe so.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, then we can move on to agency reports. Maya, you want to start?
Sure. So basically, we've been working on several different things. Long-range planning. We are working cooperatively with SUDA regarding future SE data. We have been processing tip changes. We are working on a Nmt Plan update. More about that later on during the meeting. I've been also doing all kinds of end of fiscal year tasks. We have an upcoming set up an administrative meeting that's coming up on September 24th. Been filling out EAP forms that MDOT required for all our contracts at the end of a fiscal year. So I've done that. A few other things, just kind of various kind of calculations and making sure that everything that needs to be done for fiscal year 2020 is done, and making sure that all the things that need to be done for beginning of fiscal year 21, like authorizations and various signing of forms with MDOT, that's done too. Expecting the MDOT authorizations to come in within the next week. Our UWP has been approved, so it's just basically processing all of that. Our asset management contract for this year is being extended to June next year. So if we don't bill out everything by end of this year, by end of September, it's, we won't lose that money, which is really good. One thing that has been decided is that asset management plans that local agencies have to prepare can be reimbursed for asset management funds. So Midland County Road Commission, good news for you. Please submit the invoice to us for asset management, incorporating any work that you have done on asset management plan, which is due by October 1st for you guys. Russ, your microphone is off.
Upper right-hand corner.
There you go. Disappeared there for me. I thought I heard, I had written down like a month ago maybe, that the asset management plans were extended, the deadline. Have you heard anything like that? I'm hoping it is.
For transit, because the transit agencies have to prepare asset management plans, and that has been extended. I did not hear anything about local agencies' asset management plans being extended deadline. But we can contact Roger Belknap and find out, but I have not heard anything about that.
Hey, Russ.
Yeah.
I just basically turned in a request for an extension till July. I have not heard anything back, but there's no way we were going to be able to do it. So it's, it is what it is, but I have not heard anything back. I just sent that in last week.
All right.
So Russ will follow up on you. Where are you guys at with the asset management plan?
Yeah, we're not.
Okay.
It's obviously, that's taken backseat to everything else going on.
Oh, absolutely. With all that, flooding damage that you guys have to, yeah, absolutely. I understand. So we'll ask for that, and we'll put in a word also, for you guys to be able to extend that deadline. Absolutely.
All right.
And one last thing that I want to mention under the agency, under the MATS update is that policy committee has determined to synchronize elections for officers for MATS committees, both in terms of time of elections and term of office. So basically, the term of office for all the positions is going to be 2 years. Up until this point, we had 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years of term for various positions. So that is being synchronized, which is going to be, I think, so much easier for everybody. And time of elections is going to be January, starting with January 2021, then January 2023, January 2025, and so basically, and that's applicable to all the positions on technical and policy boards. And I think that's going to make it way simpler for everyone to both keep track of it and know when it's happening. Basically, currently what we have 4 or 5 different times that we needed to do elections for various positions. So it has gotten to the point that it was really difficult to keep track. When do we need to send out nominations and all that. So that is being synchronized, and MAT staff, we are just preparing changes to the bylaws so that policy can look at that and amend the bylaws. But that's a decision that has been made by the policy. And I just wanted to mention that because obviously it affects the technical committee.
Yeah, Maya, if you put a plug in for us with Ross too, if you send something in for extending.
Absolutely, I will.
It'll help my cause also.
Absolutely. That's it regarding MATS update.
Okay. Then we could go ahead and move on to unfinished and new business. We can start with the MATS tip amendment. Maya?
Yes, it's actually a very, very easy amendment. We have 2 entries and it pertains to the same project. They are PE and construction phases of job number 211142, and that's MDOT project. And it's a traffic safety project. They are doing pavement markings in various locations within MATS MPO. And the cost of that project is, let me see, the cost of that project overall is $405,000, but within MATS area, it's actually very, it's only about $300 for PE and about $23,000 for construction within MATS area. That project is a region-wide project for MDOT. And it's a new project.
It's the federal budget numbers?
No, overall.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the direct locations. They are pavement markings, so they kind of take place in various locations.
Okay.
But it's a brand new.
So this is an action item. So this is an item that we'll need to have someone approve, and then we'll have to have a second and we'll have to vote, correct?
Yes.
All
Make a
right.
motion to approve.
Support by Rethel.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 And are there any opposed? Okay, so that item will go ahead and pass. And this is another action item, item B, performance measures.
Yes. What's in front of you is the state safety targets and the state NHA's bridge condition targets. And historically, MATS has been supporting the state targets as opposed to setting our own targets, just because the work involved in terms of determining the targets and then reviewing them, monitoring them, it's an enormous amount of work. So all the MPOs are supporting state targets as opposed to setting up their own. So MDOT has came out with the new targets for 2021 in terms of safety, and they are shown right up on your screen, and they don't differ much from the last year's target. They are a little bit less stringent than last year, and that is because when MDOT has done a review of the 2018 targets and whether they met them or not, 3 were not met and only 2 were met. So that means that there is, that's why they decided to kind of set up for the new targets to be a little bit less stringent, to try and be able to meet them. So basically, we are looking for a motion to support those targets and recommend the same to the policy.
So moved, Lolo.
Support, Russ.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then in terms of NHS bridge condition targets, MDOT had to set 2- and 4-year targets for the NHS bridge condition. And when they have reviewed the 2020 targets to the, how it met up with the actual conditions, they also decided to adjust the 2022 targets and make them a little bit less stringent. So basically, what we are looking for is support of the adjusted 2022 targets, which now are 23% good, 69% fair, and 8% poor. Previous targets that were approved for 2022 were 26% good, 67% fair, and 7% poor. So we are, so basically the new adjusted targets are very close to the previous targets, but just a little bit less stringent. And again, it's because the actual situation out there, it didn't pan out didn't pan out a little bit worse than what MDOT predicted. And part of that, we were told, is actually the condition of the Zilwaukee Bridge, which is a very, very large bridge. So it represents a pretty significant percentage. And the condition of that deck area has dropped, which MDOT actually didn't expect.
So we need to nominate this again, and this would be in favor of accepting the new bridge targets.
The 2022 adjusted targets, yes.
The 2022 adjusted bridge targets. Thank you, Maya.
So moved, Russ.
Do I have a second?
Support, Gary.
And,
Okay.
all
All
right,
those
and I
in
just,
favor? Go ahead, Maya.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead with that.
All those in favor of accepting the 2022 adjusted bridge targets?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to accepting the adjusted bridge targets for 2022? Okay,
And the one additional thing I wanted to mention, the
Sure.
targets that you have just supported were on a statewide basis. Within Midland MPO area, the NHS bridges are 21% in a good condition and 79% in a fair condition. And we don't have any bridges on that are in a NHS group that are in a poor condition.
okay.
So in terms of our condition of our bridges within Matt's area, we are actually way better than the overall state targets.
I don't think the M30 bridge is on the NHS system and is not in good shape yet.
Fair point.
Well, this was 2020 measured conditions, so I think that was pretty early in the year. But that's where we stand, basically.
Okay. All right, well, moving on to the DART submittal of transit safety plans to MATS, DARTS and County Connection.
Yes, this is just basically just kind of a reminder that by December 31st, 2020, both DART and CCM transit safety plans need to be submitted to MATS and officially accepted by MATS. Then we don't have to do anything with it, but we need to show that we have officially accepted those plans. And same thing goes for the transit asset management targets from DART. They are for fiscal year 2021. They need to be submitted and accepted by MATS by December 31st. And again, we don't need to do anything with them. We just have to have them and display them on our website, have them be able to be, available to be seen by public.
Okay.
As to what they are.
Okay. Okay, moving to item 6C, MATS long-range plan.
Yes, as mentioned at the previous meeting, we are working on updating our long-range plan that's due in March 2022. We've been working on a future SE data, and we're also looking at a few other things that need to be done. What you see in front of you is the potential capacity project list that was modeled during the previous model about 5 years ago. So what we have asked you is to look at this list and provide us with any comments as to how it needs to be revised. Obviously, things change. So some projects that were modeled last time, it maybe doesn't make any sense to model them anymore within this period, or maybe there are other projects that are not on this list that should be modeled. So please let us know. So those are basically the projects that are capacity expansions or reductions. So lane additions, lane reductions, any projects like that. So please let us know if you have any changes to this list. We would like to have that list kind of squared away within next month or two. So this applies obviously to all the implementing local agencies. And then we have also asked various agencies to provide us with the new and proposed substantial developments within their jurisdictions from 2018 on. because we need to account for that in the model. And also any network adjustments that have been done between from 2018 on. So any that have been done, like for example, the work right now by US 10 and Eastman Road by the mall, we need to account for widening there, and any other projects like that. Any roundabouts, we need to, again, that needs to be counted in a model, in a network portion of it. So when the model is run, then the traffic needs to kind of flow accordingly and correctly.
Okay.
So please provide us with any of those projects that have been done recently or about to be done within the next couple of years that you know of, so we can adjust. We can provide that information to SUTA and they can incorporate that in their network.
Hey, Jay, can we count that you guys will be adding that full interchange at Monroe or Waldo and US 10 then?
As part of the modeling, sure. I just sent an email or chat over to Brian. That's included on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that definitely it's worth modeling for as a future, but the network adjustments that I was specifically talking about is something, the projects that you have done or will be doing in a,
US 10 interchange.
Bring the checkbook, Russ, we're ready.
Okay, do we need to move on then to the NMT plan update?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right. So with regard to the NMT plan, we have been working for the last couple of months on updating that document. The last version was done in 2015. So really the point we're at right now is where we need the NMT committee, and it's somewhere right here, there we go, is the list of the previous committee. Let me get to the right. There we go. Everybody can see that. So this is who was on the committee in 2015, I believe. And as you can see, there probably have been a few changes. So the point we're at right now is where we need the membership of this committee to be, I guess, finalized would be one way to put it. And the way that happens is by people essentially volunteering and then agreeing to be on it. And then once we've done that, that committee will meet relatively soon. We'll review the list of projects that are contained in the current long-range plan, the NMT projects. We'll review those and we'll do to that list of projects sort of what Maya was just requesting be done with the list of potential modeled capacity projects. So we'll review that and make sure everything is eliminated that's already been done. Anything that's inappropriate, we'll take that off, and then we'll add new projects that people are expecting to have happen. So we want that to happen relatively soon. And then the other thing that the committee will be doing is once that gets included in the draft, that list, we'll have them start to sort of review the draft and really get it ready ultimately to bring to the technical committee. So that's sort of where we're at with the non-motorized transportation plan. Anybody have any questions or comments?
How do how we update the members of this list for the committee?
Oh boy, well, that's a good question, I guess. So obviously, Dave will become Thor. Josh will become I don't know who. And then, Terry will become John. But as for other people, if they want to volunteer, that's sort of why we send it out to everybody on the technical committee. So basically shoot me an email and let me know what you'd like changed.
All right.
Or if you would like to volunteer right now, we can add you right now.
Right?
Well, I want to be on.
Russ is already there, so.
Yeah.
I would gladly serve.
This is
Oh,
Mike
wonderful.
Wood. I'd like to join also.
Okay, well, Jim, you're there already, and Dan, you volunteered, and who else volunteered?
Mike Wood.
Okay,
Mike, I want to come to your house and have your background.
Okay, you can. I got a room for one more up here. That's the former Sanford Lake you're looking at.
oh boy.
Is there going to be an issue getting a replacement for Josh on this committee?
I'm not sure if there's going to be an issue or not. I just got an email back from Karen stating that Shane is acting as the interim director. And so I will make contact with him and ask him to contact Maya about this committee. And then a couple of the other reports that you seem to be needing with regard to current projects and things that have moved around.
Yes, perfect. And we
Okay.
actually, we have added him to our distribution list for this meeting, but he hasn't responded. I'm sure he's really busy with all that stuff. So,
If you don't
And,
mind, I'd like
we
to.
have continued to, HR has continued to expand the search for a replacement.
mhm.
I'd like to add Brian Stark to that list too. If I'm not able to make a meeting, then Brian would be available.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks.
Do we have a copy of that form for the complete streets for the NEMT?
The form itself,
Yeah,
generally, I send those out when there's a request that someone fill it out for a project.
okay,
So, but I can send you a blank one
okay,
in case.
thanks.
Yeah.
And then, but what we will be reviewing is a full document, I believe, that was prepared 5 years ago. So that's maybe what, 20 pages or so?
Well, the draft that you'll be getting will be longer. And before that, of course, we'll be looking at just the list of projects that are in the previous long-range plan.
What we have started doing is the original NMT plan was we always called it kind of version 1.0 was very basic. So what we have already started doing, we have added chapters to it explaining the benefits of NMT and of having the NMT plan, having descriptions of various NMT facilities, what they are, with pictures, so it will be easier for readers to kind of understand it, what we mean by NMT facility. So we kind of have expanded the document already, incorporating kind of more of the write-ups in terms of various issues. So the entire non-motorized subcommittee will be receiving a draft of that, the kind of expanded draft, and then obviously all the projects will need to be reviewed. The latest list of projects that we have was included in our current long-range plan. So that was about 5 years ago or so, because the list of projects in an NMT plan that goes back to about 6 years ago. So that's even older, and that's much shorter actually.
That's all I have about that.
Okay. Complete street form action item.
Right. So also, let's see, let me make that appear here before everybody.
Thank you.
And so this is what we think is or what I'm purporting to be the final list at this point. It should have the final 2 projects that were approved by Thor back in July. as well as, let's see, I think that's everything. So these 5 projects now have all been, they've had their forms turned in, they've been reviewed by Thor, they've been approved by Thor. There are, I think, 2 on here that would be requesting exemptions. That's, this 204-408, which is an MDOT project on M20 from M30 to east of Curry Parkway. There's no new, or no new non-motor facilities planned. And then let's see, the other one that will be requesting an exemption is the one at the top there, this Bay County project, 209-419 on Salzburg Road from 11 Mile to Garfield. And so what we would need then is approval of the 2 exemptions and of the remainder NMT facilities that are in the form.
Are there any questions?
I might mention that on the Salzburg Road project, well, I've looked at all of these, and on that one, I do agree there, Jim, that with the ditches and all of that, there's very limited space to do much there. I would say that there are some residents in the area, and so if there were space, there'd be interest, but I agree that it'd be difficult to do much there. On the M30 east of Curry Parkway, there is a sidewalk and also a mail truck path there. My understanding that those will be maintained as are.
Okay. So I would be looking for a motion to approve this with the 2 exemptions.
So moved, Russ.
Second, Thor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and do we have any opposed? Okay, thank you. So we can go ahead and move forward with that. Do we have any other topics that anyone needs to bring forward?
There's the 6F, the item that was added to the agenda.
Ooh, you're right. I'm sorry. JobNet update, my favorite.
Oh boy, all right, here I go. It's a little complicated, so please bear with me. Within last year, the feds have determined that total project cost that's referred to in a federal register as it applies to be represented in our transportation improvement programs, in our TIPs, needs to incorporate the right-of-way, utility, CE, PE phases, even though those are not paid with federal dollars. So what that means for the all local jobs and some of the MDOT jobs and some of the transit jobs that we have, we will need to adjust the total cost of those jobs in a TIP, accounting for all those different additional phases, to show a column showing total project cost. In terms of amendments, those additional phases which are just either local funds or the state funds will not play into how the amendment, into the criteria for the amendment. So for example, if there is a federal funding for your con phase, that amount of funding and the percent increase or decrease of the funding determines whether amendment is whether any project change is an amendment or administrative modification. It will not take into account all those other phases, but we do need to add the cost for all those other phases into JobNet. So, so recently, the JobNet team has been adding the coding to be able to account for all those additional phases, and they have completed that. It's all working. So starting in October, we will be talking to all the local agencies if they have any projects shown for year 21, 22, and 23 in a tip, and we will be finding out what the cost for those other phases are, and incorporating those costs into the JobNet. We can also, if those costs are not known, we can actually put in a default values, and the default values have been set up 15% of a construction cost for the CE phase and 10% of a construction cost for the PE phase. So we can also utilize those. So that's basically it. We'll have to be adjusting all the local jobs, and we also will be contacting transit agencies. There is the other cost column that has been added. So if there's any other cost regarding purchasing of buses, we'll have to be accounting for that too. We understand that for transit, normally that column will stay at 0, but we'll have to go for every job basically, and make sure that we have a total project cost accounted for. And I hope that made sense because it's a pretty complicated thing.
It'll make sense when you're asking for the data.
Okay.
One quick question for clarification. So when we look at construction costs, you got to do a tip amendment, you got, plus or minus 25% or 20% or whatever. They're not counting PE and CE as, and right away as in that calculation, are they?
That's right. Those costs will not be counted in the calculation if they are not paid for by federal funds.
Understood. Good,
yes.
Good.
And that was part of a kind of a tough job that JobNet team had to do, because they had to make sure to code it properly, that those costs would not be pulled in and counted when if there are any increases or decreases in a cost of a construction phase. But the feds were very adamant that TIP has to include total project cost for all the various projects that are included in a TIP.
Okay, any other questions? JobNet's always going to have questions. All right, I guess we can look forward to moving to adjournment. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved, Russ.
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
And just to make sure that there are no public comments, right, on Facebook.
This is Brian Stark with I just have one comment with just a reminder. I just sent out an email for our Bay Region non-motorized meeting. It's October 7th from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. If you're interested in it and you didn't get the email, just please send me one. And then I'll forward the invite to you.
Thanks, Brian.
So I have a motion from Russ to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Or
Thank you. Meeting adjourned, 10:50.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maya, can you stay on for a sec?
Sure.
So I understand you wanted to pull your hair out over that amendment I did to that grant.
Yeah, you know, we had to split. All of a sudden, LPT came up and said, we need to split this project into 3, right? And that meant adding projects, right? So I was just holding my fingers that it doesn't get us into an amendment, right? That it can stay as administrative modification. And what it is, because you guys were